So you want to be a wedding planner, huh? You've come to the right place. Take a seat, my friend. We've got some things to discuss. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jamie Wolfer, and I'm a wedding planner who likes to help other planners get started. No, seriously, like I love doing it. If you've been around here for a minute or you've seen my face before, you may have seen my previous video where I talk about how to become a wedding planner, and sweet, innocent little Jamie from over 3.5 years ago had some great ideas. But now some things have changed, global panini and all, as well as we're seeing a surge of about 25% increase in weddings this year alone. So maybe you're thinking to yourself, I'm about ready to take a slice of that pie. And lastly, because now that I've helped hundreds of planners start their wedding planning businesses through our union mastermind, I've kind of honed in the process just a little bit better. And by a lot, I mean, holy smokes. If you are not a part of the union mastermind, you absolutely need to check it out. I'll put the wait list right here because there normally is a wait list. We normally cap it off at a certain amount of people in the mastermind at one time. So check out the wait list there. But it is a wedding planning mentorship that's intended to not only help you get started with learning how to become a wedding planner and what you're supposed to do on wedding days, but also how to grow a business that lasts. You see, there's this statistic out there that most wedding planners don't make it beyond 5 years. And y'all, it is so true. Being a wedding planner is not for the faint of heart. It's not an easy job. It's not a walk in the park. It's exhausting. But if you are here, you literally feel called to do this, right? You're like, I don't care. Give me the exhausting. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for the details and the late nights and the design meetings. And you clearly feel a passion for this industry. And one of my bones to pick with how the wedding industry operates and treats wannabe new planners is they're like, take this certification. Learn where a fork goes. In my mind, I'm like, who cares where the fork goes if you don't know how to run a business, if you don't know how to get clients, if you don't know how to advertise yourself properly? And that's why I created the Union Mastermind, because I was so sick of all of these certifications. We had someone who worked for us that said she went through 2 certification processes and nothing compared to being a part of our team, getting boots on the ground, and nothing compared to this mastermind. You should not be going through this wedding planner journey alone. You just shouldn't. And it's really hard because there's this mentality with a lot of planners of like, you're here to take away my competition. And I'm not here for that. So if I haven't made it painfully clear enough, I'm so unbelievably passionate about helping other planners get started. So here are 6 steps that coincide with the first 6 lessons. Yes, just the first 6 lessons of the Union Mastermind. First of all, you're going to want to figure out your business basics. And no, I don't just mean a contract and legalities and your brand and your name. All of those things are needed and we will discuss them in the moment. But your business basics is like, what's your why? Why are you doing this? Why do you feel called to be a planner? Why do you want to start this business? Because when the late nights hit and your feet are aching and you feel like, what did I do? Why did I pick this career? Why did I pick this industry? You're going to want to come back to your why. You're also going to want to know who you are. I highly recommend, and everyone that goes through the course, I recommend that they take the Enneagram test to figure out what their number is. This will tell you what your strengths and weaknesses are when it comes to being a wedding planner. And you're going to need those because no 2 wedding planners are exactly alike. No 2 services are exactly alike, which becomes really frustrating for a client. But we'll get to that in a minute. What makes you special? What's your superpower? What sets you aside from other people that are also doing this? And this isn't a way to put them down. This is a way to empower and inspire you to build the best business of all time. The second thing you're going to want to do is figure out package development and your systems. First of all, your pricing. That dreaded word. How on earth are you supposed to figure out your pricing? One thing I recommend is once you kind of get a general idea of what the cost is in your area for wedding planners, that you can kind of price yourself appropriately and accordingly from there. But instead of just drawing random numbers out of a hat and being like, that looks about right, I've seen other planners use that number, I'm also going to use that number. What you're really going to want to do is calculate your hourly rate. We go into this in way more detail in the mastermind. And again, if at any point you're like, wait, no, I need to learn more about this, be sure to join the mastermind because this is where we dive into this in detail. Come up with an hourly rate because booking a client isn't just one phone call and one email. It's also the 10 hours you spent on Instagram that week and the 5 other people that you talked to that ended up not booking you. So coming up with an hourly rate is going to be massively helpful if you ever want to change your packages or add on a meeting or shift things around. So while your hourly rate may be $100 an hour for 10 hours working with that client, what that client doesn't see behind the scenes is the 50 hours that you put into acquiring them, advertising, running social media, all of the clients that didn't work out. There's a lot more to a business than just the face time that you get with those clients, so be sure to price yourself accordingly. In addition to that, you're going to want to make sure that you have your packages memorized. You're going to want to know them like the back of your hand, because when you are delivering this information to people, you don't want to be like, I don't remember what's exactly in that package, because you're not exactly projecting confidence in your ability to pull off whatever you're trying to pull off. You can't even pull off a sales call or a meet and greet conversation to talk about your packages. It's not going to instill a lot of hope and faith in your ability to confidently plan their wedding moving forward. You need to know your hours. You need to know what you offer and what you don't offer. And you need to be very clear about that with your clients. What goes hand in hand with knowing your package as well is having boundaries on when to say no. Not every client you interview or talk to is going to be the right client for you. Some clients may ask for more than you're willing to offer. And if you don't have a solid knowledge of your package and boundaries in place to say, hey, no, that's outside of what we do, this is where the emotional wear and tear starts to happen. Because these boundaries are not in place, because there's this expectation that planners do absolutely everything under the sun, when we don't. A lot of people have the expectation of a $20,000 wedding planner, when in actuality, they're hiring a $2,000 wedding planner, and you need to be the one to educate them on the difference. You're also gonna wanna make sure you have the right systems in place. That's much more difficult than starting off on the right foot. My favorite platform of all time to use is HoneyBook. I have been using them for years now and highly recommend it. We do have a discount code with HoneyBook. Click right here if you wanna go check that out. If you are getting started in any capacity in the wedding industry, you need this application in your life. Not only does it automatically generate a new file for all of your brand new clients through the questionnaire that you can embed on your website, but it also prevents you from double booking. It can help you do awkward stuff like managing payments and notifying a client when they're late on that so you don't have to. It does it automatically. It's great. It helps get your taxes in order for the next year. So many things come with this one application. It's literally made for wedding vendors. Number 3, contracts and legalities. I cannot impress this upon you enough. I used to have a Frankenstein contract where I literally copied and pasted things off the internet. Do you think that was legally binding? No, it's not. I do recommend checking out Legally Set for all of your contract needs. Got them linked up here, and of course I will be linking all of these down below in case you miss them when they pop up. You need to have a contract in place. A firm contract in place with the correct legal jargon. And Kuhnby over at Legally Set literally wrote this one contract for event planners. That was the entire purpose. It's not just like wedding service industry. It's very niche down to what we do. The power of a good contract also sets up good boundaries with your clients as well. Because whether or not things go successfully with this client, whether they go positively or negatively, a janky looking contract is not, again, going to instill a lot of hope and also will not protect you when push comes to shove. In addition to that, there's also a difference between a proposal and a contract. A proposal is a proposal of things that you have offered to do for this client. A contract is the legally binding document. We go into so much more detail about this in the mastermind itself, so if that feels confusing, don't worry, we obviously dive into that. Step 4, figure out your branding and web presence. A good brand will make or break a wedding planner in this industry. Like it or not, it is a very visually motivated industry. If you do not have a website, if you do not have an Instagram, even in the early stages, and this part feels discouraging, but don't worry, it'll feel better in the next step. You need to have a solid brand. We're talking a logo, we're talking fonts, we're talking colors. We go in so much detail on like what you should look for and red flags and names and what's going to be timeless in the mastermind as well. But boiling it down to this, making sure that you have a logo that could look good on a hat, on a shirt, that's immediately recognizable, that's not too confusing, that's easy to read. I know we in the wedding industry love our scripty fonts. However, if it's not legible at quick glance, it's probably not the best to be the permanent face of your brand. And this statistic still holds true, probably even more so now post 2020. You have to have a web presence in order to have validity in the eyes of a couple. If you do not have an Instagram, if you do not have a website, it's 2022. You do need to have those in place in order to be taken seriously as a planner entering into this field. Step 5, getting clients. I mentioned this in the last one and it still holds true today. If you are in a place where expos are happening again, I highly recommend doing that. I got 10 times ROI on doing one of those. It forces you to learn your packages extremely well. It forces you to explain what you do in very quick succession, and it will also probably be exhausting and your feet will hurt. But the chances of you booking some incredible couples and incredible clients off of that is unreal. Secondary to that, get chummy with people on social media. Join a Facebook group. Make yourself useful. Jump in there. Make some friends. Comment on posts where people are asking for wedding planning advice without absolutely tossing your services in their face. Just show up. Another way that you can get clients is once you've made it through the first 6 steps of the mastermind, we will advertise you to our ever-growing email list. Right now, we are over 25,000 people strong on there. We have had someone go through the mastermind and went from 1 client to 11 in 6 months. I get asked all the time for wedding planner recommendations, and what better way to source these recommendations than the planners that I train myself. So even if you seem to struggle to find clients on your own, we are constantly and consistently supporting this crew by sharing them with our very active international email list. What I don't recommend, however, and this might surprise some people, is advertising through the normal wedding websites where vendors are normally advertised. Got a bone to pick with that situation because you gotta pay to play on those. And we go way more into this on why I don't like it and why it drives me nuts in the mastermind itself, and I'm gonna keep my thoughts off the internet regarding that. You can join the mastermind if you want to hear about that. If I can't see a provable ROI, I'm not into it and I'm not paying for it. And lastly, keeping clients happy. And this one feels the scariest of all. Right? I mean, you're like, I would procrastinate with design and branding for so long because I was just scared of like jumping in and taking clients and taking the next step. And sometimes any of these other things that I've listed can really be a stumbling block or a source of procrastination because you're just scared of getting to that final point when you actually have to work with clients. And that's why as a part of this mastermind, I give you free access to the master plan, which is literally every single step I take my clients through to plan their weddings. And then the last thing that you need is a community. This is not known as the most welcoming community on the planet. I've already said that in this video, but it bears repeating. Wedding planners are kind of the worst at letting other people in. It can be next to impossible to find an internship. I get this question all the time. I can't find anybody to intern for, or I can't find anybody that'll hire me. I can't find anyone that will let me shadow them. It's not a very welcoming corner of the wedding industry. But when we asked the planners that had gone through the program what was their favorite part, yes, so many of them were excited. Yes, so many of them are booking clients. If you want to see their review video, check that out right here. But what they all said without fail was the community. Guys, this is a tough business and you should not have to do this alone. This group of planners is so incredible. They become each other's assistants if someone's close enough for an event, or they can fill in for one another should anything happen or anything arise. But mostly it is a group of solid and supportive planners who are on the same exact journey that you are on. When you have questions or you're unsure or you need support or you just want a vent, this group is such an incredible group of humans, and I cannot wait for you to be a part of them. Becoming a wedding planner the traditional way is difficult, but it doesn't have to be. If you are interested in joining the Union Mastermind, please sign up for the waitlist. We cannot wait to have you in there. And if you want to find out even more, be sure to check out the link in the bio in case you missed it earlier in the video. That's all we have for this week's video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you liked the video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride and planner. And until next week, bye guys.